Hi, everybody. Greg Viner here, and I've made a few videos about how I use the Genius Messenger CRM tool, but I still think that some people are kind of missing the point and are thinking that it's just about getting organized. And while that is absolutely a huge benefit to it, there's a lot more to it. And I want to sort of get behind some of the thinking and some of the preparation that you might be able to do to really get the most out of this. Now, I'm also going to prove that I suck at making videos. I just sort of sketched out a couple ideas on Google Slides here. So I've called this the organic marketing process, what people do and what people should do. So as you can see, it starts off down here with the Facebook groups. You go out to Facebook groups, and we all know this. You do friend requests with people who might be like-minded, and then some of them will join your friends list. Okay, so now our friends list is expanding. So then what happens is you start to make posts on your Facebook profile. And a lot of these are going to be nice posts about never give up and how great affiliate marketing is. And then you'll also post little offers. Hey, would you like to learn how to do this? Like to learn how to do that? And wait for people to sort of raise their hand. And then when they see these posts, your hope, of course, is that they enter your funnel, and better yet, they might even buy what it is you're offering. But some of us are left scratching our head because it didn't seem to work as well as we had hoped. We thought that when we got into this, we would just have to post nice things and then our bank accounts would fill up, and it doesn't really work like that. And then we remember, oh, right, we're supposed to do DMs. We have to have connection with people. Well, no problem then. I'll dip my toe in the water. I'll DM these people. And so what they do is they go, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Do you want to buy from me? How about now? Now do you want to buy from me? And they, I'm joking around here, but that's kind of what it's like, is these absolute strangers you're reaching out to and ask them to purchase from you. And that is the problem. This is the whole problem why organic marketing doesn't work for some people. It's because they rush this process. Now, what really needs to happen is you have to establish a bit of a relationship with these people. But I think what happens is we have what I always refer to as an imaginary conversation. And the conversation goes something like this. I call this person a friend because they're on my Facebook friends, but I don't really know them and they don't really know me. And I'm not so sure why they reached out to me. They're probably trying to sell me something. And so if I'm thinking about that about certain people, these people are thinking that about me. They're just waiting for me to try to sell them something, and that doesn't feel right. And if I were to reach out to them and find out how they are, that feels false, because I really just want them to buy from me. Now, I think in the business world, you have to see that Facebook is a business tool. It's fantastic for outreach. It lets us get organic, also known as free traffic. It helps us get our offers out. So if you DM people and you get a grouchy response too soon, chances are you've done it too soon. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody you reach out to and you develop will then buy from you. Of course not, but there's ratios. Email marketers know that a certain percentage open their emails, and from the opens, a certain percentage click on a link, and from the clicks on the link, a certain percentage buy. It works exactly the same. So we have to basically expand our numbers. And that's where Genius Messenger is so fantastic. And I think everybody understands that. It helps you to manage things more easily and do more efficiently. But more importantly, it really helps you drill down and get your messaging just right. See, when you want to go to your, a lot of people, because they've gone here and they've said, oh, that was grouchy, that was painful, I didn't like that, people said no to me. Well, I'll go back to my Facebook posts and I'll do a whole bunch of posts. And that's great. I get a lot of likes. In fact, I'll get a whole bunch of likes. In fact, I'll get a lot of love from my posts. And that's where people stick around and keep looking, and they keep doing all their work and all their energy on the Facebook posts, and they ignore the DMs because that's the painful part. I go, how come this organic marketing isn't working out for me? What it really comes down to is if you offer too soon, you're going to fail. Okay. So instead of touching once or twice, you really need to have 7 to 10 touches before you even go to the offer. That's not a purchase. That's before you even go to the offer. Now, here's where Genius Messenger is so good, because it's the missing piece of the puzzle. This part here, it lets you to, in advance, be able to figure everything out, the likely conversations. Now, does that mean that you're locked in with those conversations? Of course not. You can continually respond in a flexible, dynamic way. But the great thing is, if somebody asks you a question and you have the mindfulness to give a really thoughtful answer, one of the nice things you can do is copy that thoughtful answer and save it for the next time somebody asks you. And it's all in there. So not everybody is on their top game all the time. Okay. So let's talk about how Genius CRM helps you with high ticket organic. Well, of course, we know this part. It helps you stay organized and it helps the conversations moving forward. I always say this is kind of like, when you run into the grocery store and you think to yourself, I'm just going to grab two things. I don't need a basket. I don't need a cart. I'm just grabbing two things off the shelf. I don't need these things. And you run in and you grab the things that you want. And on the way out, you see two or three more things you didn't think of. And then you see a couple more things. And the next thing you know, you are just crammed up and juggling all this stuff. And you think, oh, I wish I'd had a basket or a cart. That would have been so much easier. That's how these conversations and DMs go. You think you're just going to have one or two conversations with people, but before you know it, you've started 12 conversations. They're all at slightly different stages, and you're trying to remember what they've said, and you're always scrolling and reading and reminding and rewriting. It's so much nicer to just have everybody, once you've had a certain part of the conversation with them, move them to the next stage. And then deal with each stage at the same time every day. And it's okay to not get back to people instantly. It's okay to take 30 minutes in the morning or 30 minutes in the evening, and that's your Genius Messenger time. And you know what? Some of these messages, these people will get back to you right away and you get back to them in 24 hours. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just how this works. Okay. So it helps you to leverage the best questions and comments for yourself, from you, things you've thought of, but also you can get conversations from others. Now I'm going to put a Google document right below this, a link to this here. And I call it the high ticket organic cheat sheet. Now it's just a starting part. Okay. It goes through, and this is what I've used that's worked really well to try to help people figure out what to say and put the starting comments in. This works great for high ticket organic education products. This, depending on who's watching this video, it is on YouTube after all. Who knows? It might not apply to you, but for those who are in the high ticket world, this will, I think, help you out a great deal. It's a starting place. Is that everything you need to say? No, but it's a good place to put it in, and I'll show you as we keep going. Okay, whoops, let's see. That obviously didn't work. Here we are. Okay. So it lets you pre-plan your conversations to keep the conversation moving. That way you don't go down any rabbit holes, all that kind of stuff. And it helps you to blend in both questions and shares. You want to ask about them. Let people tell you a little bit about what they're doing, and then you want to tell them a little bit about what you're doing. You do want to ask some direct questions like, what would success look like to you, and how much time do you have to spend on this? It's okay to stay business oriented, and those are things you might want to put in there. And this helps you to develop a connection, so you can have those touches, 7 to 10 touches before, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then you get to the funnel, and that's when you say something that sounds like the following. Hey, you know what? This seems like it might be something you're interested in. I have this 5-day challenge that's absolutely free. And if you're thinking this is something that's going to work for you, or if you're kind of planning on checking out, why don't you check out this free thing? And it just gives them an easy ramp to get into your funnel and to start getting a little bit more primed for hearing about it. And so when you set up your CRM, and again, I don't know how this is going to work. I'm just obviously freestyling here. You've got labels and you've got tags. So I like to move things along in labels. Here's just some suggestions. Everybody you start off with, of course, they're cold. And then once you talk to them, you've already had a bit of a conversation. I would then just move them along to the warm label. I'll show you that in a second when I get into my example. If someone's interested, but they're not ready to buy yet, I'd move them into interested. So you keep everybody together. And then you've got people who are just not ready, but they haven't said no. I might put them into waiting. That way you can just keep everybody organized. And then tags is just a way to further subdivide all these people. Here's a couple of examples for tags that I would use, like what group they came from. Because you might have a very different conversation with somebody from, I don't know, maybe you've got some hobby you're interested in and you approach somebody from that group, or maybe you are already in another type of business and you approach somebody from that group. And then you might want to also just give the tag whatever stage of the conversation you're in. I figured you can use your imagination for that. So now I'm going to pop over to Facebook Messenger. And again, the place where this works is if you go to facebook.com/messenger. So here's this handsome guy named GD Viner. So clearly this is my other profile, and it's not labeled yet. So I would click on here and I would add a label. Well, actually, I don't know if I can. Oh, all right. Sure enough, it doesn't work. So I'm going to look into my group talk here. I'm going to have to move myself here. So here's the thing. I want to have a conversation. Oh, I know what's happening is I've logged into an account that doesn't have any labels set up. So I'm going to pause the video. We'll log back in with the right one. But all the labels are not the same. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, I'm going to pause, be right back. It's going to feel like a long time for me, and it's going to be instant for you. And just like that, I'm back. Okay, now I'm going to move this over here. Now, the cool thing is I've gone and I've added a few labels. So I don't know if this will work because I didn't refresh the page before I came back here. Let's try this. Oh, it looks like it's loading. Okay, let's let this load. Okay, so this stranger named GD Viner, hit label. I'd say the first one, he's cold. We haven't talked to him yet. This is something that was popped in. I don't know who it was. I'm going to add tag. Let's say that, okay, well, I met this person in the Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to add. So now that tag has then been added. Okay. So now I want to have a conversation. Again, I haven't added the conversations. You know what? I'm going to do it again. I'm going to hit pause and I go add some conversations and then be right back. And just like that, I'm back, and I'm going to pop over into Genius Messenger here, where I went into the global templates, and I just called it phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but you would come up with much better names. And then, as you can see, I wrote down in phase 1 from our first example, hey, and I did hashtag capital name hashtag, and that'll pull the name right out of their right out of their profile. Nice to meet you. How long you've been working online? And I'd add that in there. And I can add whatever I like in here, so that I'll say, here is an example of a second comment. I know I'm not being all that creative here. And then ask them about themselves. Now, of course, you wouldn't write that, but you would come up with questions. And again, a lot of these questions would be here. This is what I'm giving you. Okay. And you can take a lot of these questions and you can go plug them into the global templates, so that when you want to have a conversation with somebody, here I am. I'd said that this person's cold, and then I'm going to hit global here. I could make a note and might say, met this guy at the Chamber of Commerce. Add. Boom. Now I have a note about this person, and when they come up, I can remind myself. Now I want to add a little thing here. It says, okay, okay, it hasn't refreshed. I have to log out and log back in. Oh, okay, I'm going to do that again. That's what happens when you don't plan. And I'm back, so let's see if it works. So we hit the little G, and now we made the note, and here's a little message part. And let's say I wanted to make this, I'd go to phase 1. You would, of course, call it something much better than that. And I'd go, I want to move this one in here. So there's the one I just wrote. And I click on it, and it's in here. And I'm going to get rid of this so you can see it. Hit send. Hey, GD, because it thinks my name is GD. Nice to meet you. How long have you been working online, with a question mark? Now, I could also do this. I could go, here's an example of a second comment, and it jumps down into here. And I can actually edit this down here before I send it. And it's not showing because of the, oh yeah, okay, it's behind. You might be able to see this. I don't know if Loom is showing it. It says Loom for Chrome is sharing your screen. So I can't actually get in there and edit it, but in the real world, you could, and you can change it before you ever send it, but then you hit send, and then it comes up another time. So as you can see, once you've gone to the trouble of adding all of those different conversations, and again, I got you started with these ones, once you go to the trouble of adding them all, it really makes managing them really, really easy. So that's it. I hope that helps you get started. Don't forget, right underneath, there'll be a link to a Google Drive where you can pull off and get started with the, pretty simple copy and paste and that'll work really well for the high ticket affiliate marketers. And just give it a shot. And good luck. This way you can really increase your numbers. You can manage many more conversations this way than you ever could without this tool. But again, don't forget the most important part. Get to know somebody, let them hear your story, find out about them before you even introduce them into your funnel. And then your chances of them accepting the funnel just go up dramatically. That's it. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.